Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fellow right here, the Undercover Allies expansion for Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Now this box is the Kickstarter version, which holds the base game and the expansion. The retail version of the expansion will be in a smaller box, so I wanted to let you know that on the offshoot. But this is a game that you guys already know that I've loved for a long time, so I was very excited to get my hands on a copy of the expansion. So let's get down to the table. I'll show you what you're going to get, and then we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. So as far as I can tell, this is basically what you're going to be getting in a copy of Undercover Allies, the expansion for Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, with the exception of these. I'm not absolutely sure if these deluxe roll cards are going to be in the expansion, but basically they are simply all of the different cards that are available for you, the different rolls that are going to be passed out during the course of the crime phase, where the murderer and accomplice are looking at each other and all of that kind of stuff. So these might not be, I can't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that these were an add-on for the Kickstarter, and I think they're going to be available through Gray Fox. So with that being said, I think I'm okay showing these to you. Now, what I know for sure is going to come in the expansion retail version are these three new roles: the Lab Technician, the Protective Detail, and the Inside Man. And then you're also going to be getting these scene cards that are new, and then you're also going to be getting a new event card, which really kind of produces a new twist. And then of course you're going to be getting a whole bunch more murder weapon and clue cards, and then you're going to be getting two more badges, because the expansion allows you to play up to 14 players. So that sounds like a headache, but a fun headache, I think. So let me go ahead and split these up, because these introduce, these two right here, the Lab Technician and the Inside Man, actually introduce a new phase into the game called the Allies phase, which happens in between the first round of evidence collection and the second round of evidence collection. But we'll get to that in just a few moments. There is also the Protective Detail here, and this person is basically a guard for the witness. So he will know who the witness is during that initial step of the game, the crime, but the witness won't know who the Protective Detail person is. So what he's basically trying to do is throw the murderer and the accomplice off the track of the witness by acting like a witness, as best as I can explain it to you. So it's a really cool thing, and in the games that we've played, this actually did save the day once or twice. So that's pretty cool. Then there are the Lab Technician and the Inside Man. Now the Lab Technician is going to be able to test in between the first evidence collection round and the second evidence collection round. They're going to be able to test with the forensic scientist one of the pieces of information that are on the table, that are in play. And they will be able to point at one of the different kinds of evidence cards that are on the table, and the forensic scientist will either say, yes, that is part of the solution to the crime, or no, that card is not part of the solution. The Inside Man can actually take someone's badge away from them during that Allies phase. And so what happens is much like in Werewolf, where the werewolf is able to kill one of the hunters or one of the village people, and then when everybody pulls their eyes up, the person who's running the round says, okay, the werewolf has killed you. That's pretty much what happens. The Inside Man is told to open his eyes and point to a person whose badge he wants to steal, and then everybody opens their eyes and the forensic scientist says, they chose you, your badge is gone. And so that's pretty cool. Now, the Inside Man will win if the murderer and accomplice team wins. The Lab Technician will win if the investigator team wins. And then the same thing is true with the Protective Detail. He will win if the investigator team wins. All right, so now this crime event is a real game changer, because if we look at this, Now, this is going to be one of the ones that's flipped over. If it's turned over and, in between rounds 1 and 2 or rounds 2 and 3, then this is read and carried out. So it says this: peek at the next tile. If it is another event tile, you now win with the murderer. This is the forensic scientist. If it is not an event tile, you win with the investigators as normal. In either case, place it aside face down without revealing what you saw. Discard this event tile and draw another tile for this round of evidence collection. So what will happen here? If this comes up, they're going to flip over another scene tile. If it's an event like this one, then they're going to place it face down on the table and draw another one to replace it. If it was an event tile, the forensic scientist is now working with the murderer and accomplice, which means that the bullets that they put on these different scene tiles can now be used to mislead the investigators instead of help them try to solve the case. If it was another scene tile like the brown or rather orange ones that are out here, then it's the game change. The game stays as usual, where the forensic scientist wins if the investigators win. So a team change can be instituted now with this new crime event. So that's really, really cool in my opinion. And then of course you're going to be getting a whole lot more weapon and clue cards. And so if you look at these here, you have stuff like balloons, plastic wrap peanuts, crowbar, lab sample, a safe, a gas leak, faulty parachute, throwing stars, microphone, sewer rat, infection, ooh, that looks gross, a killer robot, throwing knives, oil-soaked rags, nanobots, steamroller, a shipping container, a bear trap, barbecue fork, elevator shaft, blood sample, ticks, black widows, tear gas, dart frog, dehydration, a car, medical waste, undercooked chicken, whole bunch of different things here, and I'm just going to go through fast so you can kind of get the idea of what you've got. So understood, this enters into a lot of neat things, and I love it when people do this. When companies do this, they just give you more of the same thing. And then of course these different kinds of cards as well. Very quickly just going to go through and show you these so that you have an idea of what's going on. So again, just a lot of cool things that are going on here. All right, so before I get started, in my final thoughts, I wanted to make sure that you understood that I did my best in trying to figure out what comes in the retail version and what doesn't come in the retail version. I apologize if I got something in there that doesn't come in the retail version, but I'm pretty sure everything that I showed you is going to be available from somewhere. So you'll be able to get everything that I showed you in some way, shape, or form. All right, so there you have it. Let's get to my final thoughts. So that's that for the Undercover Allies expansion for Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. I have to tell you, this is exactly what I love when expansions pull it off. They give you more to play the game. They give you more nuances to throw in the game that don't change how the game is played, just allows you to play the game in a slightly different way. And I love it when expansions do that. And this one definitely did not disappoint at all. When I saw that this was coming up, I was immediately interested. I was immediately very excited about giving it to the table and giving it a go. And it did not disappoint at all. I actually was able to throw the expansion into the base game and teach a bunch of people how to play it right off the bat, because all it does is it adds a very mini phase in between the first and second rounds of evidence collection, and then it adds in those extra character roles, which really kind of spice up the game. Just real quick, some pros and cons. First of all, the new roles that come into the game. I love the new roles. The protective detail that can pull attention away from what people might be thinking is the witness is such a cool role, because the witness always had so much difficulty because they knew who the murderer and accomplice is. So how heavy do they go against those two people? So he has to kind of spend his time walking that tightrope. Well, with the protective detail in there, even though the witness doesn't know who they are, he can be a little bit more subtle, but still be very pointed. And then the protective detail guy can really go in there and weigh heavy, because if the murderer and accomplice pick the protective detail guy as the witness, they don't win. The witness is still protected. I love that. Love that. Now, the lab technician I thought was, I thought it was really cool, first of all, because I thought if they were able to pull off their test between rounds 1 and 2 and rounds 2 and 3, that would really be powerful. As such, their role is powerful, but not too powerful, because if they were able to do it 2 rounds in a row or in between both of those, all of those rounds, I think that would probably be a little bit too powerful, a little bit over heavy-handed, so to speak. So I like the lab technician, and I really think that it's a cool addition to the game. Now, the inside man is also really cool, taking away somebody's ability to make a guess or an accusation. The next thing is one event tile just really kind of puts this game into a whole new level, because the possibility of the forensic scientist changing teams, that's an amazing thing. A new concept. It blew my mind, and the people I was playing with, they were like, what? And so really enjoyed that. So far, pros are, the new rules are amazing. Pros are, the new event tile is a really cool thing. Small, but still really cool. Other pros are, you're getting more of everything else. That's just really, really cool. More evidence cards, more weapons cards, more clue cards, more scene cards, just more. And this is good, because there's so much variability in this game, and that's really what this game kind of thrives upon. As far as cons, insert cricket noise. There are no cons in this expansion from my point of view, because it's great. It's what I want expansions to do. So all in all, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. And you might be saying, well, why not a 10 out of 10? Well, I reserve my 10s for like out of the park. Wow. Just really, they're rare. I rarely give out a 10. A 9, though, that is something to behold. 9s are also rare, a little bit less rare than a 10, but that's how it's supposed to be, right? 9 out of 10, not because there's anything that I think lacks in the game, just because I reserve 10s for very, 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 very special circumstances. So that is it for Deception Undercover Allies. Seal of excellence from me. 2 thumbs way, way up. If you have Deception Murder in Hong Kong, you need to make sure you go get a copy of Undercover Allies. You will not be disappointed. So we'll see you on the flip side.